Another edition of the College Football Roundtable, and another Sunday has passed with another coach being fired in college football. We're just making this a weekly occurrence now. It gives us something to talk about, so I'm happy. I'm also happy to be joined by Chad Withrow, Jonathan Hutton. You see them every single day on Hot Mike on the Outkick Networks. Hut, how are you, buddy?
I'm excellent, Trey. Good to be back with you guys. Always enjoy this.
Yeah, it's fun. Chad, it's like we are now entering the multiverse when it comes to college football and trying to decipher who's next when it comes to the chopping block. It's an every weekend thing now. These teams are making decisions, bro.
It's crazy. I'm excited that it's kind of pumpkin spice season around here. I'm grabbing the lattes, I'm grabbing
Hang
the
on,
cold
Chad.
brews.
Chad, this
Uh,
it was pumpkin spice season for you like a month ago.
I know, but not everyone else needs to
Thank
know
you.
that, Hutton. Like I've been doing it since Labor Day when it was 100 degrees outside, but I now it's officially that because fall has hit hard this week. It's gray. It's in the 40s, 50s. It's terrific. So why not go ahead and fire some coaches while we're at it too?
Yep.
Wait a minute. So when you say pumpkin spice, though, are you literally stopping by Starbucks in September to get this shit? Or are you
Oh
making
yeah,
it at
no,
home?
when they offer it, I think mid-August is when it starts. I probably started right around then, maybe Labor Day weekend. But I'm a big fan. I even go as far as to get the pumpkin spice creamer during fall
Oh,
and get that for my coffee too.
That's okay.
he's
I
also a
learned
big
new.
eggnog guy.
Yeah, I'm also a 24-year-old woman apparently,
That's
based on all these revelations.
who enjoys sitting around
He's an
watching the
influencer.
Devil Wears Prada, and he's an influencer. He's an
Yeah,
influencer.
I'll be in
Oh
Aruba
man.
next week and I'll be posting some bikini photos for you guys. You're gonna love
Make sure to say hello to Billy McFarland for me. Speaking of things that turned into the Fire Festival, man, this is a good segue. That turns out to be Brian Kelly down in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Guys, we talked about this last week and even the previous week, where if things went south, LSU would have to make a decision on what their future would be like. Now, I don't think we all thought, in a sense, that, like, I thought maybe Penn State would be something like he'd go take an interest in, but I don't think we thought Sunday morning, coming off a loss to A&M, he would walk into the AD's office. They would get into an argument over which coordinators and assistants to fire, and then that would lead to the governor having to get involved in this whole big shit show that was LSU football. And Chad, and Jonathan, where we sit at right now, and Hud, I'll start with you, brother. Like this turned into some, like, I don't think Brian Kelly walked into the meeting thinking that he was about to be first off get into an argument with Woodward, which he should have saw that coming, judging by
Right.
Scott, and then he gets fired, brother. When by the way, his fingerprint code didn't work at the facility either when he got there Sunday morning. Like, this is all just crazy.
I think both sides found a reason to part ways here. I'm the biggest thing. I'm not surprised he's fired because there's no buyout too large now in college athletics. I'm just surprised it happened when it did. Um, it's teams lose, and it's not like he totally sucked, but like he did suck compared to his predecessors. James Franklin, same way. Like he gets fired midseason after a 3 week downward spiral. He was never a fit there, and I can't help but think that LSU, with the governor and everyone involved, they want time to go full throttle on whoever they're about to hire now. So they're getting a head
Yes.
start on all of this, on who's available. It doesn't matter if they're available. LSU's going after you.
I'm curious though, like Chad, when we look at this in this whole, like, we've seen coaches already be fired. I mean, UCLA, I think it was UCLA started our chain of events. My mind's gone everywhere the last couple of weeks, but then Franklin's gone, Napier. Now we move
Yep.
on to Brian Kelly, and it's just like there. Here's the thing, Chad. And here's what I ask you: sure that they can get out in front of this and they can say, okay, we've started a coaching search, but let's just all be honest with each other here. These athletic directors are already looking at potential candidates for next season before making the fire. And so do the fan bases think that they're actually getting ahead of this thing, or is it just trying to turn the momentum
it.
around from where they are?
Well, if they want Lane Kiffin, they're not getting out ahead of anything because they can't have him as coach until he's done with the playoff.
Yeah,
Because
Right.
they pretty much punched their ticket on Saturday with their remaining schedule. That's going to make it harder to get him if you're LSU. Look, I think when you look at the coaches that have been fired this year, especially at the biggest of schools, Billy Napier was a really nice guy that everyone liked and respected, that they hoped he would find a way to win enough to keep his job. And it was when it was evident that they just weren't getting better and weren't going to win enough, they had to pull the plug going into the bye week. James Franklin and Brian Kelly both had really good records. I mean,
Yeah.
Brian Kelly's 34-14 in year four. James Franklin and Brian Kelly, they can be prickish to people, right? I mean, it's a totally different scenario. At Penn State, they see everything. They know that probably his message was wearing thin with the players. They know how surly he can be. And Brian Kelly, I mean, I don't need to go through his track record
Yeah.
throughout his career. Like I'm seeing former LSU players bury the guy, saying that they were forced into retirement by Brian Kelly because they got hurt. And I mean, there's all this stuff coming out now, which some of it, maybe sour grapes, maybe not. But find me someone who loves Brian Kelly,
You
who
can't
loves
find
his
it.
personality, huh?
You can't find them.
No, I mean, it's just not, there's not a lot of people willing to go to bat for Brian Kelly and willing to go to war with him, but they take jobs with him because he's won at the places that he's been and he's had a nice long career. So, James Franklin, I think there's a different level. I think Brian Kelly is more of a prick than James Franklin,
For sure.
but they both have their issues. But those are two guys who had success. They get fired because it had worn thin. With Brian Kelly, he never accepted the path of being a Louisiana State head coach. And he never fit
Right.
in well with the culture there ever. James Franklin made it work for 12 years, and he's a Pennsylvania guy. It made a ton of sense for him. But I just think it's very different situations when we talk about some of these coaches. And with LSU, I mean, I could make the argument for Brian Kelly to be given the rest of the year. I could have made that for James Franklin
Anybody.
also
Yeah.
at Penn State. But Hutton, I think you hit on something. We're now in an era where patience is so thin everywhere. No one has any patience
No.
because everyone's spending more money. Fans are spending more money. Boosters are spending more money, and they want to return on that investment immediately. And if you spend a bunch of money on a bunch of recruits or transfers, you better be winning to the level that that fan base expects for that season. And when you go well below expectation, you're going to be in trouble right away at any of these schools.
Well, I mean, hey, yeah, keep this in mind too. Like, and you're right. I mean, what used to be made eventually is now a decision that is made immediately. And I mean, he's being judged against the LSU coaches ahead of him. So yeah, Nick Saban was 39-13. He had an SEC title and a national title. Les Miles through 4 seasons. He was 42-11, SEC
Yep.
title, national title. Same goes for Ed O. SEC title, national title. He's 39-12. And here's Brian Kelly at 34-14. He doesn't have either. And here, and by the way, I agree with you on the prick analysis. Brian Kelly's more asshole. And
Yes.
and
Yes.
remember the story about Matt LaFleur, Chad? He was like a graduate assistant or something. This was at was it Cincinnati? Where was this?
It had to
I
be.
think
It
it
would
was
have had
in
to be in
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
And he showed up thinking he was invited to the holiday party, and instead he had to shovel snow outside.
Yes.
I mean, this goes back. Nobody from did any Notre Dame coaches go with him when
No.
he made the bolt? I mean,
No,
that
'cause remember, he
speaks
went to-
volumes right there. They're
Right.
going to
He went to
LSU.
Baton Rouge. He went to Baton Rouge and he ghosted the assistant coaches on LSU staff.
There you
And
go.
then that's when Corey Raymond went to Florida for a year before he came back.
He's he's a wino. Like in the SEC, any given Saturday, he's sitting there talking about wine. It's like that's not Louisiana at all.
Yeah. 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 The
Get a
biggest
couple
thing
hand grenades in there, it's a couple
Yeah.
Not
Absolutely.
mine.
Go hit up the drive-through daiquiri shop on your way home if you really want to make things special.
He had
And
to import those bottles.
I mean, that's exactly right, and it makes now the funny stuff is coming out where he actually played more golf than Hugh Freeze last year. Like the small things, you're going to hear more. I mean, I've heard from so many different sources and boosters down there over this when we were even discussing it on Sunday, and then that happens. So now you got LSU sitting there in a situation where they don't have a president. By the way, they have an interim president.
Right.
So Governor Landry is running the board of supervisors. That's how it's called in Baton Rouge, by the way, the board of supervisors, not the trustees. I don't see the big damn difference, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
And then they're trying to put together the buyout, which I understand how they're going to do this. Like they were pretty much trying at first to say, "Hey, Brian, we'll give you a lump sum. Let's just say 25 to 30. That means you go away. We don't have to pay you over time, $800K a month." So what I'm getting, they made the decision to fire him before they had a lot of stuff in place. And now I'm fascinated because this sets up to where we're going from here. And
Yep.
Chad, I'll start with you. First off, where would Brian Kelly fit in the coaching circle next season if he wanted to go coach? And then when we look at a situation, we're going to get to Kiffin's part. But when we look at a situation that we have in the coaching cycle where everything else could open up, I'm just saying, is LSU going to be, no matter what else opens up, and maybe I'll throw Texas in there. We'll see what happens with Sark, all that bullshit from the weekend he tried to put to an end. But are we in a situation right now where LSU, no matter what else happens, is the top job in college football, period?
Yes. On the second question,
On the
LSU is going to
second
be a tough
question,
one
right.
because the only other ones that would be you could consider better would be Georgia, not going to have a coaching change. Alabama, safe to say, not going to have a coaching change the way they've turned it around. Um, Notre Dame, unless Marcus Freeman bolts for the NFL, not going to have a coaching change. And look, these are all, you could argue that LSU is a better job than Notre Dame. You know who argued it? Brian Kelly, who left Notre Dame for LSU.
Exactly.
So the first part of your question, Stanford. If I'm Stanford and Brian Kelly, that to me makes a lot of sense. He
Oh,
won at an academically minded school at Notre
Wine
Dame,
country.
a private school. Yeah. Why? I mean, he's got their amazing California Red selections up there for him. Napa close by.
this is
Uh, I don't know about Andrew Luck and Brian Kelly jiving with Andrew Luck as the GM, but you couldn't do any better as an accomplished coach for Stanford if you're them. So that's the one job that just jumps to mind for me that would make sense for Brian
You're right.
Kelly. But yeah, I think LSU is going to be the best job. But again, guys, I think what we're going to find here is everything's on the table, right? And what I mean by that is it's not as cut and dry as the Ole Miss coach will leave for LSU. The Oregon coach will leave for LSU. The Arizona State coach will leave automatically for LSU. The Vanderbilt coach will leave for literally any other job in the SEC other than Vanderbilt. We're in a different era where they're going to get paid with these television contracts no matter where they go. What do they want their lifestyle to be? Do they have NIL backing at their current school? And I think you also will see when I say everything's on the table, guys will make lateral moves if they feel like, or even a drop down if they feel like they're going to get more support somewhere else, right? Shane Beamer could be getting fed up with all the questions at South Carolina. He could make a lateral move or even a step down just to get out of that situation. So,
yes.
point being, I think literally everything is on the table. And Trey, that's what makes this season of coaching uncertainty and the carousel way more fascinating than it has been in years past.
I
I mean,
still I still think we're going to
yeah.
see the same schools at the top, though. The same programs are going to pay top dollar. I mean, there's not too many programs right now that I think will pay 11 million to keep their coach, like Indiana just did. Like
Yeah,
that
that's a good point.
Indiana is now a football school.
Right.
That's what they said. And I'm not saying some of the others aren't, but not everybody is Indiana and Ole Miss. There's a lot of, I mean, UCLA is damn near broke.
Right. Right.
So like
Oklahoma,
there's just a lot of financial decisions that you have to go by, and you're going to end up losing your coach. Like, it's just like, can Arizona State pay? I don't know. I honestly don't know in this era.
I don't either.
I'm just saying, like, that's what it takes, and not everybody has what LSU has, even one go around. So it's tough.
If you're not Texas Tech hunting in the Big 12,
yes.
Arizona State in the Big 12, it's hard to make the argument not to make the jump to a big SEC school if Kenny Dillingham gets the opportunity. I mean, hell, if Arkansas went after Kenny Dillingham, and they were offering money, and they were offering Walmart and Tyson Foods money to them, Jerry Jones money, then I think you got to take that job if you're him. Hutton, you brought it up on our show earlier this week also, but what about John Gruden? Is he ready to coach to the point where he's going to take one of these jobs? And Trey, I'll ask this to you. I mean, what are we hearing on Arkansas? It's been pretty quiet. Now with these other jobs opening up, for a while it was, I think they're going to hire Bobby Petrino with people I talked to, but Bobby Petrino's not winning. He's not won a game since he's been there. So it's hard to go that route. And you've got Hunter Yurachek crying poor to the quarterback club saying they don't have enough funding. So I don't know where to go with that job.
So I'll tell you this from the Arkansas standpoint. I talked to a couple people about this late last week. and then I got back with somebody after the LSU thing. That's something that they didn't expect to go to hell in a handbasket. They didn't expect to be competing with Penn State. They didn't expect to be competing. Florida was a potential, but Florida and Arkansas are two different jobs. Okay. They also didn't expect LSU to open up and potentially Florida State to open up after the season's over, because I think that's where we're headed with Florida State if he drops two more games, Mike Norvell. So I mean, it turned into a very, very crowded market. But at the same time, I look at it, I think, well, damn, Hunter Yurachek, you got to know. Now, Hunter Yurachek is in a situation where I might have to go out and find the offensive coordinator hire, not the head coach hire, Hutton, which could make things even. There's only, because I think there would only be a certain amount of people that would take that Arkansas job. The same way, I would say, by the way, that if Kentucky moved on from Mark Stoops, there's only be a certain amount of people that would take that job because of the basketball, the NIL, the funding. Which one's more important?
See, I think Arkansas knows who they're going after. I'd overheard that it was Rhett Lashley with ties to Jerry Jones.
Yep.
If you're, I don't think I would be worried about some of the programs you mentioned if I've already got something, because they jumped out first, right? They jumped out early. If I was worried to see what the pool would be and the competition would be, I wouldn't do it. I would be Auburn right now.
Correct.
So I think Arkansas is zeroed in on who they want. Chad's right. I haven't heard anything. If I'm John Gruden, by the way, where is he on College Game Day? Absolutely do what James Franklin did if he wants to coach again. That guy hasn't done anything. I mean, he's doing his social media stuff. He's doing Barstool. That's fine. Right. I would go big noon kickoff. Like, just go. I would make the rounds. I would make the tour. I would have a national tour of Fired Football Coaches Association and how he could be the rehired Coaches Football Association.
Well, that was Jimmy Sexton saying, "Hey, James, you're probably going to feel a little bit uncomfortable, but I'm getting your ass on College Game Day." And Franklin nailed it. He nailed it. It was 5 days after he had gotten fired. So I'm just saying, I get what you're talking about, and putting that person in front of them. And now
Napier should do it too.
See, I'm a little worried about on Napier trying to go do a show like that. I get
really?
it.
I mean, but again, I would make it known that I'm here, and you could show your personality however you want to sell yourself.
I'll give you a little nugget about
the perception of the coach that we think is going on there.
So I'll give you a little nugget about something else that's going on with Napier. You guys remember the name Jaden Rashada?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And the lawsuit?
He's in that lawsuit, yeah.
They've set a trial date for July. They're in the middle of discovery right now in Pensacola, Florida, and so that trial is moving forward. The judge.
So why did Florida wait to fire him with cause?
See, that's the interesting part that I've been going back and forth with Florida folks with, because if they wanted to, I've heard some shit in this case, and the plaintiff, Jaden Rashada, is going to present some text messages, phone calls that make Billy look very, very bad. And they could have, if they wanted to, pinned an NCAA violation on Billy for making the alleged.
One coming. That would be another. Hey, that's another factor to watch out for with the new head coach. Just saying.
It's also a factor to watch out with the buyout.
Yes,
for Billy Napier or whatever it is, they could be lowered if he committed a violation.
I guess you can still get the money back, but I would.
Yes,
if you're just waiting until July and you're losing anyway. I don't know.
There's a reason why I threw that out there. Something to keep an eye on as we go through the next couple of months of discovery. They have to have the defense side has to have their expert witnesses in by November 11th. So don't ask me how I know. I'm just going over government accounts.
That trial date will be kicked back again.
Yeah, probably so, but still at the same time, like the fact that there's still a date. So part made it interesting with the Florida situation. Okay, let's get to Mr. Social Media Guru, who's talking about the Velvet Ditch. And if you're not in Oxford, tough shit. If you don't know what the Velvet Ditch is, just look it up. And the fact that he posted his family in a caption.
Is it safe for work, Trey? You act like it's not safe for work.
Yeah, I'm reading Trey's story right now to try to get the lowdown on it that you wrote about.
You say just look it up. Like, should I do this with caution? Should I do this
thesaurus, right? For Lane Kiffin, is that what this is, Trey?
I mean, there's restaurants in the Oxford area and bars called the Velvet Ditch. I think some writer
there's multiple places called that.
Yes, some writer years ago labeled the fact that you would move to Oxford, and I'm paraphrasing, but it's in my story.
Sports bar and seafood.
Yeah, dude, it's weird. And you could also, but the comfort of being in Oxford makes you feel like you're wrapped in velvet. So that's why they called it the Velvet Ditch.
Oh, it's a
and I can't.
family-friendly dining experience.
Yeah, but there's also a daiquiri bar called the Velvet Ditch as well. So
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So this one gets a little interesting. I wrote a story,
The
by the way.
Urban Dictionary
Yeah,
for Velvet Ditch, just real quick. Urban
here
Dictionary,
we go.
a place that is easy to fall into and hard to crawl out of. The
Well,
Velvet
There you go.
Ditch.
Yeah,
yeah,
so that's Oxford.
our our backwood Mississippi strip club, one or the other.
Either
So
one.
yeah, okay. Here we go with Lane
Yes.
Kiffin. Everybody is trying to decipher tweets on social media, and I say good luck to you, Florida and LSU fans. I promise you that this guy's 2 steps ahead of you, and he's got 2 young kids that know more about social media than I do. But now it's the waiting game. Both these schools, and by the way, Ole Miss too. I have to throw Ole Miss in there. They're not going to find anything out until after their season's over. They're not going to leak anything. Jimmy Sexton's not going to leak anything about Lane because he just did this 2.5 years ago with Auburn. So we're literally rerunning this thing again.
Yeah.
I just
For a
want your
third time.
impression. I just want your impressions right now of the Lane Kiffin situation before we get to Chad
Yeah.
and where we sit a month and a half before Ole Miss would even start their first playoff game if they keep this up.
Trey, if I'm Ole Miss, I get in front of this the way Notre Dame did with Marcus Freeman. It's Ray's season, and Lane Kiffin is up to bat, and
Yep.
LSU is now involved because they're going to have to give him Signetti money anyway.
That's true.
Just so he's going to play that
13
game
mil.
in Florida. And now LSU's involved, so they got to raise it even more. Lane's going to play it perfectly, but at the same time, climbing to LSU type money, fine. You have to decide if you're going to do that or not. They've done this along the way. This will be his third extension raise and since 2022. And, they have a national championship caliber team at 7-1 with 4 games left that are very winnable. And the college football playoff straight ahead. You can gamble and say, oh, my coach is going to be, coaching during the playoff. That's all well and good. But is Lane Kiffin going to go and revert back to Renegade Lane, where, he bolts Tennessee and goes to USC, or is called a liar by Al Davis? I mean, that's in his past too. I'm only putting that out there because I would just end it by extending him the same way we saw Marcus Freeman sign before the college football playoff even started.
Chad, I'll ask you, would this hit Ole Miss fans as hard? No, I mean, that's a dumb question because he left after 9 months. But what I'm getting at is here.
They would burn him in effigy.
Okay, so you guys you both are under the assumption that this would be absolute hell, wrath, and fire against Lane if he left Oxford.
Yeah.
It would be less so when he left Tennessee after 1 year for USC.
That's right.
He did it.
But I shouldn't have used that as an example.
I think it would be a little bit of half and half. There'd be some.
Well, hang on. I'm doing this under the impression he would have to make this decision during the playoff run.
That's a good point, man. Remember FAU and the Alabama situation where he accepted the FAU job. He was the Alabama OC, and Nick Saban said, "Get your ass out of here and go to Boca Raton."
Like I'm basing this off of that timetable. They would burn him in effigy if they stumbled along the way and he was the distraction.
Didn't a year ago he was talking about, or when the Auburn year he was like it was the distraction. Down the stretch he admitted it. That
2 years ago.
Let it hang out there.
And he says money's not an issue, but it won't be for him because he's going to get paid the same either way. So of course he's going to say that money's not an issue for him.
Well, and he said, I've never made a decision based on money solely, and that's it's a very easy thing to say when you're a multi-millionaire, no matter what.
Yeah, he didn't say NIL money. Right. He said
it's more of like I'm going to be and also money is a deciding factor because the NIL money you have at whatever school you're at is going to dictate whether or not you can compete for a national championship. And that's what they ultimately want. I mean, Lane Kiffin wants to win a national title, much like James Franklin stated on game day publicly that his goal is to win a national title.
Yeah.
So, I think that winning a national title will be the ultimate decision. If he thinks he can do it at Ole Miss, they're going to be in the playoff this year, he'll do it. And if it's December 5th or December 10th and LSU still hasn't hired a coach and he's preparing for the playoff, we all know. We all know what's going to happen, that it's already agreed upon. He's bolting once his team is eliminated, and it's going to cause all of this stuff. Remember when Lane Kiffin was leaving for FAU, and there were all these problems with Nick Saban about his preparation?
Sure.
Now imagine that times 1,000.
Exactly.
If we already know he's bolting for LSU, what's his team's focus like? What does their recruiting class look like? What does their
Oh,
portal involvement look like? How do they play in that playoff game? And if they go out there and lay an egg, yeah, to your point, Hutton, I do think that it'll be fire and brimstone from the Ole Miss fan base if that's the scenario.
Look,
yes.
If he leaves at the end of the year and they look good in the playoff, or you're going to have about half and half say, "Oh, thank you, Lane. Thank you for your years here and your service," and the other half are saying, "I feel like I've been abandoned because we bought in fully to you being an Ole Miss guy, and now you've left."
Trey, just
okay, I'm going to throw
briefly,
this at you, Hutton. But okay, go ahead.
this is why Ole Miss can just get ahead of this. Ole Miss has the coach that the top two programs that are open apparently want. And they're saying that they deserve the best coach on their list. Again, I'm saying this in general terms. They deserve him better than you. But Ole Miss has always answered the call on the money.
Absolutely.
And Kiffin has been crushing it in the portal.
Yes.
So again, if I'm Ole Miss, I just lean into that. If you want to win titles and make money in this NIL era with the college football playoff expanding, Ole Miss can be that destination. And Kiffin's already proven he can recruit there.
I'm going to throw something at you guys, though, and this is where the tough decision is going to have to be made in either Gainesville or Baton Rouge. The early signing period, and I get high school recruiting and where it's at now compared with the transfer portal. That's not lost on me. I understand that part. But that's the first week of December. So you're essentially, if you're LSU in Florida and you're waiting for you're punting on your high school recruiting to go make up for it in the transfer portal in January. By the way, if things play right for Ole Miss, this is setting up to be a completely F situation for either LSU or Florida.
Well, but also some coaches. It's not just going to be Lane. And I'll say, like, from high school perspective, the coach that leaves, most of those players from the high school will follow him if they're that good. They'll go with the coach.
Yeah.
The coach will lean on that. From a portal perspective, Ole Miss's players will be jumping ship too. They don't know who the coach is going to be at Ole Miss.
That's true.
So like they can follow Lane there or go somewhere else. Their mind's going to be elsewhere as well. Like that's why the whole timetable is all effed up here. Like they've got to, and I realize if you got enrollment, you got to be in class and all this stuff. I don't get it, man. Like,
but Chad also
Aguilar taking classes at
it's the only time we ever
State while he's at UCLA. I don't understand any of this when
it's the only time we ever put school under consideration. Is with
exactly well said.
I mean, I don't, I always joke, but it's true. Like, when was the last time someone was academically ineligible for a bowl game or for playoffs? Or when was the last time we talked about a coach's APR bonus being in danger? I think they're getting that APR bonus every single year, no matter what. When was the last time someone had a bad APR score?
No doubt.
None of these kids are there to play school.
No.
The business that we're living in right now. And I don't think it's right. I don't think it's good, but it's the reality of where we are. They are hired contractors there as mercenaries to go and perform well and win athletic contests.
It feels like damn near
school.
It feels like damn near half of them are already graduated anyway.
Yeah. And look,
yes.
Let me say this about the coaching carousel and the timing and all that. Great loss by Eli Drinkwitz on Saturday to Vandy for him to get that Florida job.
Yeah, great point.
Because that's going to free up his December. The way they lost that game, and I hate it for Bo Prabula. That was terrible.
God.
But guys, like, I thought Vandy would win. I thought they would win rather convincingly the way they did against LSU. Missouri blew it. I mean, they should have won that game by every single metric. Other than the scoreboard, and they had a missed chip shot field goal, the 4th and goal where the quarterback dislocates his ankle on the attempt to run it in to take a 7-point lead. You hand it off to Vandy, great play by the defender, but a bad mesh, and they just take the ball from you on a handoff, and then Vandy goes down and scores. Diego Pavia did nothing in that game. I don't think he's a Heisman candidate, quite frankly, based on his performance against Missouri and Alabama. And that's the mark of a special team. Like, I also give Vandy credit in that they got beat in that game on the field, yet found a way to win at home. And that's what truly great teams do at least once along the way. So credit to Clark Lee. But back to Eli, there's a reason he's an overwhelming betting favorite to get the Florida job now. There's a reason that Missouri fans are pissed off about me talking about their stadium not connecting all the way around and having a rock formation and not spending any time telling us why Eli is going to stay at Missouri. Has a single Missouri fan even argued that he's going to stay? or that Missouri's just as good of a job as Florida. I haven't heard it. It's been
Oh,
really quiet from that Missouri Eli front, which is unlike him, which Trey makes me think that he gone. He's going to be the Gators' next coach.
I'm going to throw something to you both. I was standing on the sidelines in Nashville on Saturday night, and I'm sitting there watching Vanderbilt, and the place is sold out. It looks great, but it wouldn't have been sold out if 15,000 Missouri fans wouldn't have traveled there. I'm just being honest. That's not being
Yep.
hateful towards Vanderbilt. I'm just being honest. That whole side was
Well,
Missouri
hey,
besides the student
Clark Lee's
section.
brought that up. I mean, after the LSU
Yeah.
win, he
Right,
said it's great to see a full stadium. He said we need more Vandy fans in there. He said it
right.
was way too loud when LSU did anything in
Shit,
that game.
man, it
That was
was
after
Hey,
the
loud.
man,
LSU win. Yeah.
I felt like a fan the other night when I almost went to that game during
Yeah.
the day, and then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stay here and watch all these games.
Yeah, no, and I don't, but I don't blame you. But here's what I'm about to ask you, and you guys are talking about Eli, and I'm gonna coincide this with Clark Lee. Somebody said to me that I won't tell where they work at because it's one of the schools, and I don't want to get them in trouble. But they said looking around for Clark Lee, with his name being out there at other jobs, and they pointed at the stadium. He goes, "This is as good as it's going to get at Vanderbilt. This is it. There's 37,000 people in here. 15,000 are
Well, I
from
don't know about
Missouri."
that.
Okay, here's what I'm asking you.
The Titans are awful.
Here's what I'm asking you: Is if Clark Lee is in a situation the same as Eli? Because Eli could sit around and say, "Damn, is this as good as it's going to get for me at Missouri?" So I'm phrasing that to you guys here with Clark Lee and Eli Drinkwitz. Do you see promise in the future with both of those squads, or do you try to jump on the first big one that opens up?
Okay, so let's look at it from the national perspective. Here's why I question that it can't get better for Vanderbilt here. The Predators damn near left the city.
Great point.
And a few years later, they're in the Stanley Cup final, and it is the place to be. Bridgestone Arena was the top ticket over the Tennessee Titans. Titans suck, Preds suck, and if they make a run, if they make the college football playoff, that turns into something. If they do it right. Now, I don't have faith in the marketing department of Vanderbilt. They've never been great. But Chad,
They're also understaffed.
well, again, like that's where Clark Lee has to lean into taking one of these jobs, even though he wants to be loyal to his arm. He's got to lean into it to demand better.
I agree.
And if you want, it's not necessarily for me calling out the fans. The fan base is what it is. The fan base is there. It's got to be a fear of missing out on the next moment, of marching down Broadway with the damn goalpost, and that's on Vanderbilt. So I mean, that's what I would be demanding as well. He's going to get a raise if he stays. And look at the season. But Chad, they've got to be better in that regard, and they haven't capitalized on it yet. They could though. They can.
Yeah. I mean, look,
Go ahead,
they're
Chad.
so I don't know that it's ever going to get better than getting into the playoff, which I think they're probably going to do right now because I
I'm talking
really
about
like
the following though.
yeah, when I watch, so just from an on-field standpoint, I'll start there. All right, like can Clark Lee sustain this? Odds are no that you can't. All right, you caught lightning in a
Right.
bottle. Jerry Kill can't coach that much longer. I mean, it's not just Diego Pavia. You brought over Jerry Kill and Tim Beck, and that's to me is the most important thing this offseason is making sure those guys are still around and they get a say in who the next quarterback's going to be at Vandy, and they bring in the guy that fits what they do offensively because I think they're brilliant offensively with how they run it, and it's perfect. It's almost like a service academy, which I've been saying for years.
Yeah.
Vandy almost
Yeah.
needs to run the triple option and be different than everyone,
Yep.
the way Paul Johnson did at Georgia Tech and had some success. They're showing they can do it a little bit closer to traditional, the way they run their offense, but still very different, the way they flip sides of their offensive line. And they're very innovative with those coaches. So
Yeah.
I don't know that it's going to get any better than going 10-2, let's say, and getting to the
No.
playoff, which Vandy
Right.
could do.
Yeah.
You know, they're
Right.
on pace right now to do that. So I don't know from the on-field standpoint, there's going to be a drop off. Now I'd say that about anybody. You know, if you're regularly winning 9 or 10 games at a program that's not Georgia under Kirby Smart or Alabama or, name the top 4 or 5 in America, you're going to fall off at some point. There's going to be a year or two where you struggle, and it's going to be, do you have the faith from your administration to stick with that? Now at Vanderbilt, he's gonna have a lifetime contract if they get to the
Yes.
playoff this year, right? So he could go through another 2 to 3 year struggle, and he's going to be completely fine at Vandy. That's not going to be the same leniency you'll be
Right.
shown if you take another job. Now, from a fan base standpoint, Hutton, I'm with you. They can sustain this.
Yeah.
Now, they've got to set up some parameters where they can't, it's like the Predators did with the way teams taking over the arena. They were
Yeah.
doing things to not sell to the opposition.
They
You're
had
not
to sell the
selling
note.
tickets if you're not in the state of Tennessee.
And I just think that it's they've done what I've always said they should do. They should turn their stadium into the Cameron Indoor of football. Make it small,
Yeah.
but make it luxurious. Have the boxes for all the rich people that want to go to the games. Make it really nice for them. Put the students right on top of the field, the way at Cameron Indoor. The students are overtaking the court. Get them crazy into it, which they are. I think they're taking all the right steps to make, what is this stadium, Trey? You were just there 35, 40,000?
Yeah, so somebody said to me it was like 35 to 37,000.
Perfect. That's the perfect size for Vanderbilt, given their smaller alumni base, most of which don't stay here in
Right.
Tennessee. They go elsewhere, wherever they came from. I think that's where Vandy needs to be. And I do think they can sustain a 35,000 seat,
Yeah.
good environment, sellout, majority of the fans being Vanderbilt, Nashville people, and not the opposition. But it needs to get here quick because this is a legendary story this year for Vandy, and they're still being overtaken by opposing crowds.
Well,
I just said,
the
go ahead.
overtaken this year doesn't surprise me, but like they have elements that they can really tap into. Diego Pavia, if he's not in the NFL, I hire him as my co-general manager. You've got Theo Vaughn on the sideline, Johnny Manziel's on your sideline, country music stars on your sideline. Morgan
Wyona
Wallen's on your
Judd
sideline.
was down there.
You do that. It's the Matthew McConaughey of Nashville effect. And to me, that's what they need to tap into. And he's more or less the marketing arm that makes it cool.
Yes.
That's what they can do. Now, Pavia is the guy that can do that. I don't know of another player that's going to be able to do that. But if they can keep that aspect around, and I think Clark has done a good job of leaning into like Theo Vaughn. Maybe Theo's going to date his mom soon.
Yeah.
But like that's something that the other colleges don't have. That every college fan base is everybody's listening to Theo Vaughn, and they're seeing him on Vanderbilt's campus every week. I mean that's a big deal that they've never had before.
The interesting part of it too, Theo Vaughn was talking about. I had a conversation. Whatever, I'm not trying to be that guy. So I had a conversation with Theo Vaughn. His ass is always on the sideline. Like he's really nice guy.
Like, how did you?
But no, we were talking about recruiting. And the biggest thing was he said, he said something along the lines of the first game he ever came to at Vanderbilt. There might have been 3 recruits on the sideline. Well, I was looking at the recruiting section this past weekend, and he pointed it out to me, and he goes, "Now look at it." And he points over, and there was 100 recruits on the sideline.
Well, they had the Curtis guy there, right?
Jared Curtis was there too.
And they had Jared Curtis there, who wanted to come out and say later, "Oh, I was just there because it's in Nashville and game day was there." Bullshit. You were at practice the week before. I'm not saying
game day's there.
Right. I'm not saying he's flipping or anything like that. But what I am saying is
also what a disrespectful thing to say about the school who hosted you, and you got Nate Bargatze giving you multiple shout outs on ESPN.
I just walked by and saw this.
Like, if he comes out and says that, like, first off, I know the car the kid's been driving for the last 2 years, so I know that the down payment has been made at Georgia. I am curious if he has to return the Lamborghini that was delivered to him if he doesn't go to Georgia. So there's got to be some ramifications with that if he ends up at Vandy. Maybe Vandy pays off a Lamborghini and gives it back to Georgia. I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
But, I mean, look, I love local Nashville high school kids, but give me a break. Like, I'm pissed off on Clark Lee if he's coming out and acting like, "Oh, I was just in town because, his game day was here. It's local." I'm like, no, you're a guest of Vanderbilt football who's rolling out the red carpet for you. You can at least acknowledge, hey, I want to see what it's all about. They've been recruiting me hard.
Right.
Clark Lee seems like a great coach. I like what they're building. Now, you could say that and still end up at Georgia. Right.
Yes.
But like, don't just give me it was just close to my house. So
I think he's saying that because he doesn't want Georgia on his ass.
Yeah.
He said he told Kirby and them he was going to the game, but then also I don't know if a lot of it's been reported.
Is what I'm saying.
Right. I don't know if a lot of it's being reported.
He wants to drive that car to high school.
Jared Curtis was at Vanderbilt football practice last week, having conversation with Clark Lee. Like, let's not act
that's
like
huge.
Like, I'm sitting there looking at him up in those new $1 million suites with Jimmy Sexton sitting a section over from him, and he's up there enjoying his time. Like, Stop with the
Vandy can lean
bullshit.
into this in a massive, massive way.
Absolutely.
They have the
Absolutely.
second largest endowment in the conference.
Yes, and trust me, we're not on here trying to say that this kid is about to flip the Georgia or anything,
No.
but we're
I'm
also
not saying
trying
Matt
to
leaning
say,
into him. I'm saying just in the entire
right,
buzz.
don't act like you did come over there just because College Game Day was on campus. I'm sorry. Like,
Or let him go. Let him go sit the bench at Georgia, and then he transfers to Vandy later.
That's exactly right. Keelan Russell at Alabama. Hint, hint. No, okay. Well, no, I think we're all in agreement here that Clark continued doing his thing. Eli, though, is the guy you got to watch for the Florida situation now if it doesn't work out. Even though personally, I think the coach 70 miles south of Baton Rouge in New Orleans might be a better coach than both of them. And I don't mean that in a mean way, John Summerall, just because of everything he knows Baton Rouge. Like, he gets it. He's from the South. He coached at Troy. It's my neck of the woods. So whatever. I'm pointing towards a little bit towards John Summerall because Kentucky effed that up by not firing Stoops last year and trying to hire him.
Didn't LSU turn their back to Napier because he was coaching in their state?
They didn't give him a damn interview.
Right.
Like they didn't give him a damn interview.
A total about face for them to hire that guy.
That's exactly
I'm not saying he's not deserving.
I remember Tim Brando, who lives down in Louisiana and knows Louisiana politics as well as anyone. He was saying it was something to do with him being the coach at UL Lafayette, which is a state system school.
University of Louisiana.
There's this big, it's not just from Louisiana, it's this big thing about you can't go to little brother in the state system. Tulane is a private school, may be different. I get what you're saying, Hutton, on that. They're probably going to have a chip on their shoulder about that as well, but Tulane, not a part of the state system, may be different for their coach.
Could be, yeah.
John Summerall seems like a really good fit at South Carolina if Shane Beamer leaves.
Yeah.
Kentucky, Trey, you brought up. I think he's a great fit at Kentucky if they work out a negotiated settlement with Stoops. But, again, this is my avenue to throw out my crazy theories. But Shane Beamer takes Virginia Tech because he's going to get pissed off that people don't appreciate him anymore there with the good stuff he's done. He goes back to build on his dad's legacy at Tech. John Summerall of South Carolina. That stops the bleeding. Tulane's going to be a great group of five job for someone, but that stops the bleeding of the coaching carousel domino that we're going to see right there with Summerall if he goes to South Carolina.
But who would? Okay, all right. I mean, I get it because then you potentially leaving Kentucky and Arkansas. Arkansas will get red last week.
Kentucky and Arkansas will take whoever Jimmy Sexton wants there.
That's what people don't understand about this stuff is that Jimmy is literally sitting there with a chessboard and he's placing pieces, and this is how these places get hired.
Well, let me give you the chessboard here. I got another one, just either or.
Okay.
James Franklin will be the coach at either Florida State or Auburn. It's one of those two. That will be his landing spot. With those two jobs coming open.
I keep thinking North Carolina. North Carolina is paying their coach $10 million a year, and Belichick's not working.
Did y'all see that shit this past weekend?
North Carolina
two games in a row, they fell a yard short of winning. And by the way, I love the decision by Belichick to go for two.
Yeah, me too.
And the win the way he did. But man, oh man, he had Virginia on the ropes, and they're knocked out of bounds a half yard short. A brutal.
Guys, y'all did. I don't think y'all saw this. Well, I was about to say y'all didn't see the TikTok, and it's going to show you how out of touch I am with reality. But whatever. There was video posted by a reporter. Jordan Hudson was on the field taking photos with every single referee and sideline official. Like
they probably asked her for a photo.
Yes, that's what I'm getting at. Like they were all coming up asking for photos. She was smiling, taking pictures. She was walking around there like she run the place, which she does run the place, by the way.
Sure.
I'm just North Carolina's a mess.
Not for long.
Right. I wish it's about time for them to move on. That's a good,
She can go run Tulane.
I'm just thinking, like James Franklin in big games, we know his record, right? How many big games is North Carolina going to have every year?
Thank you.
So go win. Go get in the playoff, James Franklin.
Yes. And you know what you do?
I'm just saying, you could be Florida State too. And do the same thing. But I mean, Carolina also a top 10 paid coach.
But James does North Carolina a favor in that situation and says, okay, you can pay me $5, use that other $4 to $5 or however much on NIL and go buy me a roster.
Staff. Absolutely.
Yes. Yes,
Absolutely.
I don't disagree with you.
I love this plan. I love this plan. So much so I'm adding North Carolina to my list. One of three
Yes.
jobs. Florida
Yes.
State, Auburn, or North Carolina. That will be the landing spot for James Franklin.
That's perfect. Man, we have figured everything out. I'm gonna text Jimmy Sexton right when we get done with this, and then we can go ahead and plan and try to go for the future, which very nice guy, but there was a reason why he was on the sideline on Saturday. It's not just because he has a penthouse in Nashville.
I was at a
Guys,
dinner one time and met Jimmy Sexton in Nashville, who was just sitting at the bar by himself and just went up and struck up a conversation with him and probably talked to him for 20, 30 minutes. Great dude. And fascinating
yes.
guy to
Yeah.
sit and talk to. We talked about coaches. We talked about, all this different stuff. And shot him a text a couple days later. Hey, great meeting you. Would love to talk to you.
Yes.
No response.
No.
I will say
No.
I haven't followed up. I will give you guys an update if I send another text out.
Yeah.
But it was basically
Do it
like,
right
hey, we'd
now.
love to
Chad, text him right now.
Yeah, no response.
But by the way, he
You guys want
probably
me to
does
text
have.
him? Hey, busy
Yeah.
time, Jimmy. Like
Hey,
a
you up?
winky face emoji.
Can you get me an
Man, you
intern
must be
job?
busy.
You probably got one of his 5 phone numbers. Let's just all be honest with each
Yeah.
other here.
He
Okay,
had
that
2.
man's rolling 5
We
deep.
we should know more about that dude, man. Like that, if if there are movies made about past, Lee Steinberg, by
Mhm.
God, there better be a movie about Jimmy Sexton.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I would watch it. I think it's also smart that we don't know much about him just for his business
That's
purposes. Like,
exactly
I think
right.
he almost works better as a cloak and dagger type guy that,
He's
not
a-
many people see publicly.
I want Jimmy
Guys,
Sexton to be the commissioner of college football.
dude,
Just
he
thinking it
knows
out
how to
loud
run
now.
the damn sport. Like, come
He's
on.
already running it.
Yes, he was sitting on the college game day stage on Saturday while Nick Saban was there. He was hanging with his girlfriend, and then Miss Terry was there. At the same time, he's putting out a big ass fire that Diana Rossini from the Athletics started about Steve Sarkisian. Like they're like I'm sitting there watching him. Like that happened.
It's
So
very
just-
unlike Diana to start a college football rumor.
Yeah.
And the worst part, look, I'm not considering
He's got some
Diana.
CAA connections, that's for sure.
But shit, man, the worst part
she
is
does.
like she literally she put the little blurb at the bottom of a 900-page thing where people had to go read it. So she got her click. Like, congratulations. Sarkeesian shut that up. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up. Predictions this weekend. God, we have spent that's a good conversation on coaching.
Yeah,
I
it's
enjoyed
great.
it. All right, let's get into it. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 games this weekend. Hutton, we're gonna start off with you, brother.
All right.
We're going to go Vanderbilt versus Texas. We're going to go Tennessee, Oklahoma, Georgia versus Florida in Jacksonville. Last time for the next 3 years, it will be in Jacksonville, by the way. Moves to Atlanta, then Orlando. And then we're going to end with Chad's Cornhuskers, USC versus Nebraska
Okay.
this weekend.
All right. So I'm going to start where? Where do you want me to start?
Let's start with Vanderbilt at Texas. That's number 9
Okay.
versus number 20, and we don't know if Arch Manning is good to go yet.
Chad is absolutely right that Pavia has shit the bed recently in his play. I think, though, the fact that he played the way he played against Missouri, they still win. They won a different way, and Pavia is going to – I think he wakes up. So I like Vandy in this game. I would like Vandy anyway. Like they showed what they could do. Missouri, I think Missouri would beat Texas, right? Like, so I'm just thinking out loud, like how this would go with Purvula. But Chad, I like Vandy here. I know they're the dogs, and they're still an underdog with Manning questionable. That's probably a better thing for Texas. I just think it's in Vanderbilt's favor that Pavia is coming off of a game where they won and he did not play well. And I think he gets amped for road games. I think that's another thing. I think the whole environment warming up and talking shit is right up his alley. Let's see. Tennessee, Oklahoma.
That's night game in Knoxville. Oklahoma comes to town after a loss to Ole Miss.
Spread's 4. Let's triple the spread by the Vols.
Shit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not worried about that Oklahoma defense after what I just saw Ole Miss do to them.
But you ain't worried about Tennessee's defense against Oklahoma's offense?
Sure, but I mean,
I know.
I trust Tennessee's quarterback.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Next
I
one.
know tip balls and all that can happen. I think the receivers are starting to make play. Like, yeah, let's go.
It'd be a crazy ass atmosphere if it's anything like the last time Oklahoma came to Tennessee. Holy hell.
It's going to be a great game, but I think Tennessee's going to make some big plays. That I know they didn't play all that well. They're pissed off about the way their defense played against Kentucky.
Not going to disagree with you on that one.
I'm just
I
not
think
worried
you're
about.
right.
I mean, I'm being way too nonchalant about this. Oklahoma's defense is very good.
Yes.
It's just a different way to prepare for this Tennessee offense.
I don't disagree. Georgia versus
Florida,
Georgia, Florida in Jacksonville. Does Florida
Georgia,
that interim? Okay,
Georgia could be down 21 at halftime. They're going to win that game.
Okay, Georgia, Florida, USC and Nebraska.
Nebraska, and this is my wrong team favorite, Chad.
Oh, nice.
Ooh,
I'm taking
Call your
Nebraska
shot.
in this game. Nebraska, though, here's my one hesitation. Nebraska hasn't won against a top 25 opponent when they've been the underdog in like so many, like it's like
that's
30
true.
games.
Yeah, that's true.
It's had to have been since Bo Pelini.
It's
Yes.
been that long. It's like 30 games.
That's what, 2010?
Yes.
You know,
I just
2009.
I think Matt Rule outcoaches Lincoln Riley.
I could see that.
I would just take Matt Rule in that. I'm at some point Nebraska's going to
They're going to break the damn streak.
Talk again.
Yes,
Yeah.
they're going to break the streak. Chad, all right, buddy, let's start it off with you, my man. If you want to go in reverse, you can, or I can just name them off. Vanderbilt traveling down to Austin, Texas. What happens?
So Vanderbilt offensively against Missouri, 3 for 10 on third down. Pavia was 10 for 19, 129 yards, and an interception. They had 265 yards of total offense. Missouri's got a good defense. Missouri doesn't have a great defense.
Right.
Texas has a great defense. They've got a better defense than Missouri. Now, do I trust that either Arch Manning coming off a concussion, if he plays in this game, or the backup quarterback is going to score a ton of points on a Vandy defense that is very good at bend but don't break? I'm not overly positive that they're going to do that. I think the good fortune, though, ends for Vandy in this game. And I think the good fortune for Texas continues. Texas back-to-back weeks wins in overtime on the road against Kentucky and Mississippi State. I think they're going back home at the right time. I think Texas survives a really close game against Vandy in this game because I saw some things of Vandy's offense that if you've got the defense, you can slow them down considerably. Now, Tennessee, Oklahoma's next.
Yep.
I'm not sure anybody can stop Tennessee's offense right now, depending on the look. Now, Oklahoma's going to have the best chance. This is the best defense that Tennessee will have faced. But my goodness, Kentucky decided to go, hey, we're going to stop the run. We're going to stop the run. We're going to load up the box. We're going to go man-to-man. And Heupel and Joey Aguilar said, great, we'll throw 70-yard touchdowns over the top.
And then Kentucky tried to throw a three-man front out there. Like, what do you –
But you want to talk about banging your head up against a brick wall, though, if you're Mark Stoops. I'm thinking, dude, adjust. I'm watching that game and thinking if I'm a Kentucky fan, like you do this every year where Tennessee kills you with their receivers because you cannot match up with all three of those guys. They got three really good receivers at Tennessee, and you cannot match them man on man. And Aguilar's seeing it, throwing it well. Offense looks great. Josh Heupel doesn't lose at home to anybody but Georgia. Like I'm with Hutton on this. I think even with Tennessee's defense struggling the way they are, and go ahead and mark it down. Oklahoma's going to score more points than they have on any SEC team. But I think Tennessee wins a close game, and they just score a little bit more in this game. If it was in Norman, I'm taking the Sooners all day. But Josh Heupel, since his second year began at Tennessee, he's only lost to Georgia at home, and that's it, beating everyone else. I think he's got a grudge against Oklahoma. We all know the reasons why. Seth Littrell is on this staff. He was let go as offensive coordinator at Oklahoma. That means a lot to him also. He's an Oklahoma grad. Give me Tennessee with that level of attitude in their dark mode game at night to win that. I don't know how they win it, Trey. I think the defense is going to look terrible at times. I think they might make a play or two like they normally do, but Tennessee finds a way to win that game. Georgia's going to beat Florida. I'm not going to take too much time on this. I think it's going to be sloppy for a while, but Georgia will pull away. Florida's defense is good enough to give Georgia some problems. Not going to matter. Georgia wins. And my Nebraska wife, who's actually listening downstairs right now, she needs to cover her eyes, earmuffs on this.
Oh, damn.
USC's going to win.
Oh.
USC's going to win. I want to like Dylan Raiola. I do. He's underwhelming. He's an underwhelming quarterback. It's not clicked for him. Great touchdown win over Northwestern at home this past week. But I think USC is the better team, and I think they get it done.
Well, Nebraska fans are going to lose their ever-loving mind if they can't get a ranked win this weekend against USC.
Can I ask one question on the way out?
Yeah, go ahead.
What if LSU offered Matt Rule?
I would think they were insane.
I know.
Frankly.
If we're all concluding that he's going to Penn State, I mean, that's the third best job, fourth best job, whatever. I'm just thinking
There's got to be
LSU's also
something good
insane with how
about
they've
him.
handled some stuff.
Penn State also, I've been told, is kind of running through some candidates before they actually make a decision. There was a certain Big Ten offensive coordinator that I think was in Happy Valley this past weekend interviewing Heartline. So I'm curious to see how the Penn State goes.
Heartline's taking that interview as practice for something else.
Absolutely. And reportedly he did it during game week. Like they're playing Penn State this week and you're interviewing Ohio State 2 days before game. Whatever.
Well,
we'll get into that.
honestly,
according to reports that happened.
If Rule leaves for Penn State, that's the type of dude Nebraska should go get.
I agree.
Like, don't worry about the guy who's even like don't worry about a guy who's got ties to your program. Don't worry about a Mike Riley, who did well at Oregon State, was an established head coach. Go find me that charismatic. Go find me your Tony Vitello, right? Charismatic younger guy that will sell a program and their vision. And that's what Nebraska fans need. And they just need that level of stability. And you go find the right young coach. You pay him well to leave a great program, even as an assistant. You pay him well to hold on to him. You can build something. I love Heartline. Yep. I think that'd make a ton of sense if Nebraska ends up with an opening.
I don't disagree with you. Yeah, he'd have to recruit, but I don't disagree with you. No, I'm saying just to get to school they'd be going to. Just going through mine, Vanderbilt versus Texas. I'm going Vanderbilt goes on the road and gets that win. I think something is just clicking right now. I think offensively they figure it out this coming up week. There's ways to get through the Texas defense. So that I am going with the up. I'll say upset, whatever. I mean, I guess it kind of would be going on the road. I don't know.
It's an upset, right? Texas is favored, so it is.
Texas is favored by 2.5.
Yeah, so it would technically be an upset. Don't care about the rankings. I am going to go with Vanderbilt to win that just because I don't know how healthy Arch is going to be yet. There ain't no love for Oklahoma, and that's what Josh Heupel and Seth Trell will be blasting from Luke Combs before that game. So they're going to try to run it up if they can or just score as many points and just let the defense say, okay, we got you on this week. So I'm going Tennessee over Oklahoma at home. Florida takes this thing into the fourth quarter, but they lose to Georgia. And Nebraska finishes the streak. They beat USC this weekend. Fans rush the field, have a great time with it. And yeah, that's how we'll wrap it up. I'm sure we'll be back.
My wife is very pleased to hear that you picked Nebraska.
Okay, I'm glad she's happy.
I'm now fascinated with the ESPN matchup predictor and their algorithm for all the games. The USC Nebraska game. You guys ready for this? The ESPN matchup predictor has USC with a 73% chance to win at Nebraska.
7-point spread. I thought USC doesn't travel well.
Right. Like
what's that forecast looking like in Lincoln on Saturday?
Yeah, man.
I need to rethink my pick based on the forecast because I don't think USC is going to play well in cold weather.
70%.
20 degrees and bleak. That's the forecast in Nebraska.
That's like a 14.5-point spread to me if it's 70%.
Thank you. Exactly.
You guys ready for this?
Yeah.
Cloudy and 39 degrees.
Yes. I love this.
34 for a low in Lincoln, Nebraska. It says going to feel like 35 degrees during the game.
It's over for USC this weekend, boys. They are out of the CFP race. That's it. It's over.
Welcome to the high plains, my friends.
And as somebody that was there last year, but I didn't get to experience that cold weather, I will say good luck to USC. Man, this has been fun. We're going to do it again next week. I'm betting my paycheck probably that there will be another coaching search that we're talking about on this show next week as well. I don't hold me to that. I'm not going to say how much.
No, you just bet your paycheck.
I'm holding you to it, Trey. I'm going to bring it up right when we start next week's show.
Well, I guess I need to plan a story then. Well, by the way, I guess I need to
writing this down in my notes on my phone.
Have you already written the Auburn story?
Yeah, I've already written the Auburn story.
Yeah,
I've already written the Florida State story.
Okay.
But we'll see. Like, there's a way to fight whatever. John Cohen's car could start tomorrow morning. Everything's fine. So
that's right.
we'll just see how it plays out. Oh man, Hut, where can they find you both every single day on the Hot Mic channels?
They can find us at the Velvet. What's it called? The Velvet.
The Velvet Ditch.
Yeah. That's where we'll be.
You'll find us at the Velvet Ditch on Thursdays and Saturdays.
The Velvet Ditch. Also known as Outkick Hot Mic on YouTube. is where you can search out Outkick Hot Mic on YouTube. Hope you'll like, comment, subscribe, share the channel as well, and join the velvet ditch that is Outkick Hot Mic on YouTube.
We're going to end it with that. You guys have a great week. We'll talk next week. I'm Trey Wallace, Outkick.